Good afternoon, it's Wednesday, July 24, 2024. Peace is a path to the prosperity of a nation. Let rain. On the news this afternoon, rehabilitation work begins on Obirikwere flyover weeks after explosion. NLC denies withdrawing from nationwide protest. Federal government holds emergency meeting over planned 1st August protest. Police seeks public help about mother of newborn found dead in manhole in Port Harcourt. And on the foreign scene, pilot survives deadly plane crash in Nepal. Passengers, crew die. I'm Chukwumoyela with the news. Now, the Rivers State Commissioner for Works, Tassier Amadi, says work has started on the Obirikwere flyover where an explosion happened weeks ago. Mr. Amadi said this in a text message to our correspondent. Yesterday, residents of Port Harcourt Metropolis living around the Obirikwere flyover expressed worry over the delay in starting maintenance work on the flyover after a tanker exploded. After a tanker loaded with gas cylinder exploded on it on 4th June. They spoke to our correspondent.
People fear to stand for that because of the hole where they there. If you break at any time, people even fear say accidents will happen, they will spoil the flyover.
That place that has it happen, there is hole there. That hole now is causing many things, that particular place. Let them arrange that place.
The engineers will work government supposed to send them to come check if the bridge is still there as it day or you get any damages of in lifespan.
When another motor pass, that place is giving problem. So we need government to help us.
That place is tanker for. Time government they go collapse. All flyover they always dey smooth, but that place very rough. So make government try to check out.
Moving on, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has denied reports that it has withdrawn from the planned nationwide protest against economic hardship scheduled for 1st August. The NLC President Joe Ajero stated this in a statement this morning. He said the union cannot withdraw from a protest that it did not organize. In the meantime, the outcome of a federal government emergency meeting this morning in response to the planned protest is still being awaited. Recall that a circular indicated that those invited to attend the meeting will include all the ministers, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, the Special Advisor to the President on Policy and Coordination, Hadiza Bala Usman, Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, and former Minister of Youth and Sports, Sunday Dari. The Punch newspaper reports that the circular was signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Cabinet Affairs Office, Richard Felangwa, dated July 23, 2024, entitled Planned Nationwide Protest. As you may know, on Tuesday, President Bola Tinubu asked organizers of the proposed 1st August nationwide protest over economic hardship in the country to suspend it. Minister of Information Mohammed Idris conveyed this to State House correspondent after a routine meeting with the president. He said President Tinubu sees no reason for the protest, as measures are already in place to positively address their concerns.
I inform Nigerians that he listens to them, especially the young people that are trying to protest. Mr. President is listening to them. He takes what they say seriously and is working assiduously to ensure that this country is good not just for today but also for the future. The issue of the planned protest, Mr. President does not see any need for that. He's asked them to shelve that plan. He's asked them to await government's response to all their pleas. He has listened to them, like I said, and a lot is happening. Only today, the National Assembly has expeditiously passed the new national minimum wage.
Meanwhile, the president is to sign the National Minimum Wage Act 2019 amendment bill into law. This is after the bill went through second and third readings at the Senate and House of Representatives within minutes on Tuesday. It was approved separately by both legislative chamber of the National Assembly. Away from that, police are requesting the public to provide useful information about the mother of a baby whose body was found dumped in a manhole in Port Harcourt yesterday. Public Relations Officer of the River State Command, Grace Iringekoko, tells our correspondent that they have contacted the relevant agencies to remove the body of the baby. She urged residents with useful information about the mother of the baby to report to the nearest police division. Recall that members of the Diobu Vigilante found the body of the newborn, early in the morning. The chief security of Mbolu Ororukwo, Godtime Ihunwa, said the body of the newborn was recovered during a routine inspection patrol.
At the early hours of today, as at about 5 a.m., I and my team were on patrol. On getting to Ikwere Road by Ekwe Street, we discovered that a newborn baby was dumped into a manhole, and we discovered that the baby was dead, and it was a male. And I quickly rushed down to the Mbolu division to make an entry. I also contacted Prince Wiro, who happens to be a human rights activist.
Also speaking on this, the national coordinator of the Center for Basic Rights Protection and Accountability Campaign, Prince Wiro, condemned the dumping of a baby in a manhole.
It's sad that before the vigilance group discovered the infant May was already dead. The action of the unknown mother is a crime that is punishable under the Nigerian law. We use this medium to urge residents who may have useful information about the identity of the mother of the child to report to the police for necessary action.
Away from that, the network of people living with HIV and AIDS in Nigeria, New NEP1, River State Chapter, has reiterated that HIV drugs are free in all government health centers across the state. The statement comes in response to complaints from some individuals living with HIV alleging that a state hospital is selling these medications. In an interview with our correspondent, the state coordinator of NEP1, Chigozim Blessing, warned that any staff caught selling HIV drugs would be dealt with.
Every diagnosed HIV in the state is free of charge. From testing, drugs, everything, even viral load, everything is free of charge. I want to show you that. So if you're a staff, as a government worker, or a lay person, or an adult staff, I will find you anywhere, no time, selling these drugs in the state. The person will be in suit. Both the partners, both the state, both the partners in this one cannot make it can limit you.
Mrs. Chigozim also advised those buying HIV medications from government hospital staff due to privacy concerns or fear of disclosing their status to stop, as it undermines adherence to treatment.
If they actually don't want to take their drugs, coming out free to take it, they will be missing a whole lot of things, because I think at this juncture they cannot even adhere, because we know that adherence is taking this drug the right time, right frequency, right dose, and keeping clinical appointments. So if any of this was missing, definitely the person have already reached the goal of adherence, and the person cannot do well. So tomorrow you begin to have issues and say, the HIV is not a killer disease, it doesn't kill anybody, but why am I taking social syringes and all that? So I think it's still a good time for the person to change from such acts.
Still to come, former minister says Dangote refinery will end fuel subsidy. Stay with us.
Democracy is the freedom of speech. And now, the info opens the mic. This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
You're welcome back, and now the rest of the news. The federal government has announced a slash in allowances of foreign scholars who are currently stranded in Russia, Morocco, and Algeria, among others, by 12.7%. The Federal Ministry of Education attributed the development to economic crisis. As you may know, there were reports that Nigerian students studying in Russia, Morocco, Algeria, China, Hungary, and other countries on the on the federal government scholarship had complained that their stipends were unpaid for 8 months. The students are said to be studying under the federal government's bilateral education agreement scholarship. And now in business, a former Minister of Communications, Adebayo Shitu, has urged the federal government and relevant agencies to fully support the $20 billion Dangote refinery in Lagos. Speaking on Channels Television, Mr. Shitu said the refinery's success, with a capacity of 650,000 barrels per day, could end the decades-long petroleum subsidies in Nigeria. In entertainment, Canadian actor Keanu Reeves has revealed that he has frequent thoughts about death, especially as he approaches 60. The actor said this in an interview. In sports, Premier League club Manchester United are reportedly willing to sell 7 players this summer to raise funds for additional signings before the transfer window closes. Eric Ten Hag's team had already spent £88 million on striker Joshua Zirkzee and defender Lenny Yoro. However, they are still aiming to sign more people. ESPN reports that 7 players have been identified as potential sales. And on the international scene, a pilot has survived after 18 people were killed in a plane crash in Nepal's capital of Kathmandu this morning. The plane crashed and caught fire while it was taking off from Kathmandu on Wednesday. The pilot is said to be receiving treatment in hospital. Nepal's aviation industry has a poor safety record that has been attributed to multiple factors over the years, from weather to lax regulations.
This is the news on 92.3 Nigeria Info.
Now that's a wrap of the news this afternoon. Before we go, let's have a look at the major stories. Rehabilitation work has started on the Obidiwere flyover weeks after an explosion there. The NLC has denied withdrawing from the planned 1st August nationwide protest. Police seeks public help to locate mother of newborn found dead in a manhole in Port Harcourt. And on the foreign scene, a pilot has survived after other passengers and crew died in a plane crash in Nepal. The news was edited by Constance Mega. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808-721-7215. I'm Ifechukwu Moyele. Many thanks for listening.